All right, y'all. We are ready with the run for What the Car with Heponwana. Take it away.
Hey everyone, I am Heponwana, and I am going to be showing you what the car. You might be wondering, what the car? We're going to discover the answer to that important question as we play through this. We're going to be doing all episodes, which is going to have 9 different episodes of the game, so it's kind of the big event for what the car. We will go ahead and start the run momentarily, but first we want to go ahead and start everything up by going to our saves, and we are going to delete our save. No better way to start a run than starting over from scratch from very beginning. So we'll delete our save, and so the run will begin as soon as I click on this. So once it gets going, I'll start explaining what's going on, because this game makes sense in a way or makes no sense, but I'll try and explain what that nonsense that we're going to see is all about. So time will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And so we'll start off by skipping tutorial because I know how to play. You might not know how to play, but I'll make sure you know what I'm doing and how it is that I play. So we are this car. The car has legs. Car will have a lot of different things going on. We want to open those treasure chests. We just saw one of them because our friends are in those treasure chests. And to do so, we will start all of these different levels. I immediately restarted this level because if you don't restart immediately, it will sing out the name of the stage, which is really entertaining. But the problem is the singing does a little freeze frame with a little animation, and that's time wasted. We're speedrunning. We can't afford to waste time, so we're just going to go ahead, reset the run when we first started, then just start running along. So right here, you will see this bouncing card. We want to avoid that card, because if we grab that card, it's a collectible. We're not doing 100% with all collectibles because that is a category nobody runs. This game, 100%, we'd be here all day and all night and all of tomorrow and so on. It is super long. Nobody runs it. So we dive into our next stage. And the big challenge right now, the big purpose, what are we doing in this run, you're probably wondering. What we're doing is going through these stages so we could get to a power generator at the end of where these stages are. And once we activate all of the power generators, we can get a friend. And each episode has a friend, and we are going to use all of those friends to have a party. And that's where episode 7 will go to, is a party. But then we'll have 8 and 9. You'll see where those go. This game makes very little sense, but we're just going to have fun with that. So we continue through, once again, reset the stage so we don't get the singing. These last 2 stages, we have an umbrella. We have a different power-up almost every stage, or a different, power-up or different kind of theme. So here, we use the umbrella to float. We want to hit the ground before we hit the dash pad, because if we hit the dash pad when we land, we will end up having a speed loss. The game has a little bit of a problem calculating your momentum and velocity if you land on a dash pad, so we land right before it to keep our momentum going. Right here, we will not restart this one because it doesn't have an introductory song. Instead, we will just jump some rope. Ooh, and I missed that jump pad because I was trying to avoid that card. You're probably wondering, why am I avoiding those cards so much? And I'll explain in just a second, but first, we're at the end of this path, so we're going to activate a generator, and then we're going to do some menuing, because we were going to see some things happen, and it's going to eat up time. So instead, if we just do menuing, we could bounce back to the beginning here. We have one power thing plugged in to get that treasure chest that has a buddy in it, and we'll just continue on. So, going back what I said about the cards. If we grab those cards, it's pretty cool because that's how you get 100%. Ooh, I missed that because I was trying to be careful about not hitting that card. So the cards add about maybe 3 to 8 frames at the end of each stage. So right about here, we would have the card pop up. It'd take a few extra frames. We don't want to spend those extra frames seeing a card. The card usually has a pun. It's going to tell you the name of the stage, which is also what we're missing out on by resetting. And I don't know of anything much more kind of frightening and disturbing than car having legs like this. So kind of matches that horror block that's kind of going on right now with the previous game and up next. So kind of car with legs, kind of horror adjacent, kind of frightening, kind of unsettling in various ways. So if you're wondering about what we're seeing on this map screen, there's a path that went off to the right with a little red stage. That red stage is user created, so if you ever want to play this game and didn't want to speedrun necessarily, but just have some fun casually playing, it has user-created content, and you can literally play this game forever and never run out of stuff to play. It is so much fun because of how much content there just is. And here's another one where we are not going to reset the stage because we're just going to fling ourselves off of playground equipment. There is no introductory song, and there we go. Less than 2 seconds on that stage. Some stages go less than 2 seconds. Some of them take over a minute. We'll see all sorts of them as we go through. Final one here in this world is what if car... Oh, I accidentally misaimed on that just a little bit. So this one here is... Ooh, I am doing that just slightly off. I'm going to play a little safer. So this one here is what if car was springs? Because, you know, with what if car is spring? What if car is all sorts of fun, different things? By the way, we could go over the exit gate. We don't have to go through it. We just have to go horizontally, the up and down post. We have to be between them. We could be way over them, under them. We just have to get through them. Once again, we are going to do some menuing because it would have us slowly float all the way back on that path, that dotted line right there, to float back to this treasure chest. And to a lot quicker, just menu our way back, and that's all there is to it. We now have a friend. This friend says, buy, sell, time to get working. Spoilers, next episode is all about working. We're going to get a job. Because you're probably thinking, car is having so much fun, but car has to be able to pay bills to have fun. So car is going to start working. And working is going to take us all sorts of fun places, including the park, where we are going to be a groundskeeper. If we grab that card, it would tell us the name of this stage, and I love puns, is Ed Car Scissorhands. Because we're a car, we have scissors, and we're kind of trimming plants, kind of like in Edward Scissorhands. It works. Next one, that classic job of cars in the park, being a car riding on a Roomba. A giant Roomba that's going to vacuum up all of the office supplies and garbage that are in the park, because apparently there's office supplies and garbage in the park. This, by the way, controls really bad, but in a great way. This game has intentionally bad controls, is the best way of explaining how this game controls. Also, I played this game with a controller. A lot of people speedrun it, go with keyboard and mouse. Keyboard and mouse, probably a little quicker. I don't have good keyboard and mouse coordination, just saying I can't do too well, so instead, I love a controller for playing a game. And controller works pretty good for me. You'll notice I'm getting these gold crowns at the end of each stage. Gold crown means you're going nice and fast. We might see a silver or two, but hopefully not. And now, we got a new job of making burgers. Look at that amazing burger chef of a car. 5.5 seconds and you get a burger made fresh to order. And then we got prep ingredients for those burgers, so we're going to go ahead and prep ingredients, make sure you do not cut more than is needed of anything, because if you do, well, you'll see on this last one what happens if you get too many. You explode. But luckily, because we finished, then exploded, it didn't matter, and it all worked out just fine. So enough with having these fun jobs. It's now time for a little more menuing, and then we've got to get an office job. Sadly, we have to be a proper grown-up car, get a proper office job, you know, do type of things that you do in an office. I work in an office. I can tell you every day I have to worry about riding around on office chairs like this. It's a tough thing. It's hard to do, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And this controls really, really bad, but in a great way. Ooh, physics. So fun thing in this game is there is a lot of RNG because the physics in this game is incredibly unpredictable. You never know what the physics will quite do to you, so you kind of have to roll with it. Even if you take what feels like the same path 2 times in a row, it will be completely different just because the physics are going to do what they do. Here we have a fun power-up that we don't really need, but it is shooting a cuckoo out of our coffee mug, which is ridiculous and great. And we're just going, we don't need to do this, but I'm just going to send some bananas and obstacles just flying around as we roll our coffee mug down to the end of the office, cross that finish line. And now we're going to do the one thing, 2 stages in a row, we're going to do the one thing you should never do if you work in an office. If you can, avoid it. Don't come to work sick. We are a sick car. And we're going to cough and sneeze our way to the finish line. And this controls incredibly weird because every object has physics. You're coughing. You could shift your aim and not really know what exact way you're aiming because you have vertical that you cannot really control as well as horizontal movement. And it really makes for an interesting time. Hopefully I get through this one just fine. This one can cause some issues because of the weird physics of it. That was a little bit... Oh, and that's what I was afraid of happening. So, if your physics do not quite want to work for you, you could end up kind of in a bad spot. So there we go. That is what I want to see happen. And there we get our sick car back home to his bed. And we are going to wrap up our time working in an office, or at least working in a regular office, as we do a little menuing. Go back to working, and this time, the final leg of working is going to a bank. We're going to get a job in a bank, and then we're going to get a bank job. You're probably like, that sounds the same, both of those. They're a little different, and you'll see. First, our job in the bank has us try and collect some paper, because as we burn through our paper, we will end up running out of speed and momentum and our boost ability if we don't keep hitting these stacks of paper to reload. And we'll just use that paper, roll across the finish line. And then, for the final part of working, we'll go from a job in a bank to a bank job, as in, we will take that money and run on home with it. So in this one, our one power-up we have, every stage you just have one thing that your button can do. This one, it is jumping. We want to avoid jumping. You'll notice the longer we run without jumping, even running through obstacles, the longer we go without jumping, the more acceleration we get. So we want to just try and cut edges like that and only jump when we absolutely have to, because every time we land, we lose just a tiny bit of momentum. And you gotta love our disguise there. No one will ever suspect it's car. With those glasses, it can't be car, it's someone else. And so we will go ahead, one final menuing in the working area, and we will get our friend from this area. Our friend he looks like a sports fanatic. He looks like he's ready to cheer on his favorite team, and it looks like we are going to go to a land of sports. Unfortunately, we will not see all the sports because this is all episodes, but not 100% all content. So instead, we will see a lot of soccer. We won't see some of the different sports, but we will definitely see a lot of soccer in this, because this gets a little bit focused on soccer. You'll also notice I slowed down there as the dotted line was going, and that's because if you get to the stage before it is unlocked, you cannot access it, and you have to get off that stage and then get back on it to select it. So instead, you want to slow down a little. It's better to lose a couple frames getting there a little late, instead of losing frames, a lot of them standing on it and unable to activate the stage. You could tell anytime the creators of this game really enjoyed a theme, because they will repeat it. Ooh, that was close. That was unfortunate. Oh. So, like I said before, physics will make for a very RNG-filled run every single time. And you never know if that RNG is going to cost you a little bit of a run. So we are just going to kind of think on the fly and adjust things when we can, as we bounce a little bit different each and every time. And another gold crown, and we will move on to a slightly different take on soccer right here, of trying to get a goal in a moving okay, that was unfortunate. Went a little bit. If you go really fast, you could catch up to that before it reaches the roundabout. If you go a little too slow, you go a little bit weird, and you end up having to play catch up. But you know what? Let's get revenge. Being the ball was hard there. What about being the goal? Can we get them score a goal? Yep, we will just lead them right into the net. And there we go. And then we are now just going to avoid this ball, which will cause us to freeze up our motion. And back we go for a little more menuing. And we have 2 more areas in sports. Typically, we're going to see, a lot more of the soccer-ness, because it is very soccer heavy. So we'll go ahead and start off by being the ball with a little bit of a leak just pushing us along. The game's going to remind us, hey, you could jump, but we're going to avoid jumping until we need to, because when we jump, we lose momentum, except for right before we land. If we jump while we're coming down, we get a little speed boost, and we will use that, especially in the next stage. Once again, we're going to have the same general theme of being the ball, but we're going to definitely take advantage of the speed boost we get if we hit the jump right about now. You'll see how fast we're going, and we are going to keep that type of idea going as we take some shortcuts. Some very potentially risky shortcuts. And there we go. If you do not hit that speed boost just right, you will not make that jump. And going around that pit is way too slow. Don't want to lose that time. And we've got one more being a ball before we go into a different style level. This one's so easy. You just go right in the goal, and I feel like that's a little trickier than it should have been. But we go through, and that is it for being the ball, at least on, I think, on all of these stages. There are no more car is ball, but instead, now we need to worry about cannons, including car is going to have a cannon. And that cannon is going to be our source of momentum. I'm sorry if you get a little motion sick from this, because this one does have a bit of camera moving all over the place as we go through this as quick as we can. Shoot on through. If you happen to miss that final jump panel, there's actually a pit right there, and you will fall to your death. Doesn't happen often. And then this stage here, we are going to have the same theme, but we're going to try and take some really risky-ish shortcuts, including one here where we skip that little maze. And we're just going to continue on through, hit these, and go on right to the end as quick as we can. Get that gold. I love the crown goes in upside down because the car is upside down, and it'd be silly to put on a crown upside up. Can you picture a car wearing a crown that isn't right side up? That'd be ridiculous. And now we have a couple more sports-related stages. This time it's all about pushing the ball. And we will start off with a deceptively tricky. That aim is incredibly hard. It doesn't look that tricky. It is incredibly hard to get that aim on because, like I said, there's a lot of physics in this game. And these stages here, well, not the next one, but all of the other ones in this section, the physics are really out there. This one was RNG being my best friend. The goalkeeper was way outside of the goal box area. That does not ever happen. So that was fantastic. We're just going to run through. Hopefully you all know and love the game Rocket League, where a car plays soccer. Well, could you imagine if instead of Rocket League, what if you had a game where the car played soccer? Oh wait, I guess this is Rocket League. The car is playing soccer. Instead just bashing it though, the car has a foot because you gotta kick the ball in soccer. So we're just gonna have one more of that, but this time there's a giant crab and some other challenges to it. This stage, believe it or not, is one of the hardest ones in the game just because things can go really weird right at the end right here because you can't just turn on a dime. Oh, this is unfortunate. We're gonna lose a little bit of time there because it is incredibly hard to aim. Silver medal, silver crown. It's really hard to aim a car as a soccer player. And now we'll just have some penalty kicks. The keeper is always going to dive to the left. We pause there, hesitate, because when the ball spawns, you'll notice it bounces. And right there, that bouncing hurt me because that bouncing, if you kick it too soon, the ball will go flying upward. And except for the very last one, when it changed the goal net into a finish line, all the other ones, you had to actually get it in the net. You couldn't go over it for once. Once again, a little bit of menuing. And we will see who our new friend is. Oh, and our new friend is a clown. And you will probably never guess what the theme of this stage would be. This stage is going to be longer. And you're probably like, longer? What's a clown had to do with longer? I don't know, but it fits. You'll see it as we go through. So one way things can be longer is longer horizontally, longer widthwise. So we're just going to be a nice big car. Also, I want you to keep this stage in mind as we go through, because this is actually the last stage of the run. Not this one exactly, but we will be revisiting this stage at the very end of the run, which is incredibly fitting because last year for No Holiday Allowed, I played through this game, a shorter category, and actually skipped this stage and the previous stage because of a glitch that used to exist that let you skip a few stages. But instead, we now play those stages because what's the point of Completithon if you're skipping stages? Also, the glitch that allows us to skip a few stages no longer is in play because it's actually shorter to play through every stage than to skip any. Ooh. Had a little too much momentum there. You'll notice every time I hit a dash pad, it will change my aim to point me directly in the direction of the dash pad. And I am using that to my advantage as I hit these. Not necessarily that one there, but a lot of them. And then we are just going to roll through the rest of this stage. We are almost done. One of the longer stages for being so uneventful. Not much happens in that stage, but it is still a good almost 1 minute long of just driving through an area with a car that is way too wide for the road. RNG, that box can fall into your path and slow you down badly. Luckily, it behaved a little bit. We're going to keep up that longer theme of being kind of two cars in one in this long, weird setup. I took a risk thinking I would be able to clip through that and ended up having some issues with the boxes. And then we are just gonna... Ooh, did not want to hit that bear. I thought he'd get out of my way. So, important thing with physics in this game, beyond the fact that the physics are kind of a wild card and can change every run, most objects have loose enough physics that you can bump through them pretty easily. The one exception, bears, and later on we'll see cows. Bears and cows have incredible amounts of physics. So anytime there's a bear or a cow, they really can slow you down, eat up all of your momentum, so much more than just about anything else. And now, naturally, another part of longer is wobbly. Because wobbly things can be long, such as, what if you had an accordion in a car game? So here, we are just going to keep using this with some of the weirdest physics and just blast through as quick as we can while trying to hold on to our control. That was incredibly weird controlling. And then up next, another wobbly thing that's long. A caterpillar. You know, a car caterpillar. And so, here we just keep honking our horn to change which end of the car we are controlling. And we hope we hit the ground properly, because you cannot change which side you are controlling until you hit the ground. So if you are off the ground in any way, you cannot actually change. And especially around here where you have these large rocks, it can be a bit problematic. So we just want to get through as smooth as we can. And then comes the most RNG heavy part of this whole run. For those of you who remember the good old Nokia cell phones of yesteryear, it's snake time. And this is entirely RNG. The dots can appear anywhere. You never know where they're going to be, and you just hope they appear very close. That's a good place for the last one. Oh, I forgot, there is one more. And then you have to finish. If you're unlucky, they will be as far apart as possible, with the final one being at the very bottom of the screen, far from that gate. It's kind of infuriating watching the RNG just go to town with your run. You know, the RNG can just kind of take your run and throw it away if it wants, but all is good. And now, time for the other side of being longer. As in, this way. Instead of wide longer, we're longer. And our car has very bad control because of it. Very sloppy, loose control. Our car really wants to slide a lot because it was not properly designed to be this long. Avoid that card if we can. If we couldn't avoid it, it's not worth throwing out your stage here and restarting. Also, if we honk our horn, it's a giraffe in there. Giraffe is our horn. I hope you enjoy giraffes, because giraffes are very long, at least in terms of neck, and their legs are pretty long. Their bodies are long too. Just about everything is long with them. And we're going to have a lot of giraffes in this part of Longer, including our horn here is still a giraffe. We're going to go ahead and avoid that part of the ramp and instead crash down here, which will skip a lot of that corkscrew. If you play a lot of Mario Kart, you know, drive on the road, because if you don't drive on the road, you go slower on grass. Not the case on this game. This game, you go same speed grass or asphalt, so just do whatever you want. We will get that card only because it is hard. We had so much speed, it is hard to dodge that card and not go flying off the road. And there you see, you get the card, you lose a couple frames, but all is good. Well, all is good, except it's time for giraffes in full force, including some good giraffes and some not so good ones. This is probably the hardest stage in the entire run. Control is a suggestion on this stage, not a reality. Because of these weird, awkward tires that you have that are giraffe bodies, it will go wherever it wants, not where you want it to. So getting through that stage first try, even playing this game as many times as I do, getting through it first try is a feat. And here we are kind of like Spider-Man, but what if Spider-Man, instead of web swinging, used giraffe tongues? So we're just going to want to keep pointing towards objects that we could use our giraffe tongues on to pull us in, you know, full Spider-Man type of theme. And then, keeping up the giraffe theme, you know what naturally would come from giraffes? Skateboarding, right? Isn't that what we all think of with giraffes, is skateboarding? Because what if car was skateboarding, but skateboard was giraffe? And so we'll go ahead and take our skateboard giraffe. We'll do a little bit of grinding. I was hoping to have landed on that rail, but it's okay. It's more safe if you land on the rail, but speed-wise, same speed either way. And we will just go the end here. Because of how much fun that was doing the giraffe skateboarding, I wish we could do it again. Well, guess what? Wishes can come true, because we're going to do it again. And this time, a little bit longer, a little more involved. We are just going to keep up the giraffe skateboarding. We want to grind this rail, but not there. It'd lose us too much time. Instead, we will go right here. We don't want to jump off up there. Instead, we will take this route. There are many routes you could take through this stage, and we are going to take essentially the most streamlined one. And then I'm going to try to avoid that jump ramp at the end. Grab a little hydration. And now Before we had weird giraffe tires, now we'll have weird giraffe legs. And we're just going to walk through with giraffe leg stilts that are actually giraffe heads, because that I don't know if I've ever gotten caught on saying like that before, and boy, that caused some real weird controls there. Like I said, this game, the physics are amazing because it is never the same run twice. The physics will always keep you guessing, and you just have to hope the physics work nice for you. If I mash the button here, we'll twist up, because we can have fun with those physics as well. Speaking of fun, have you ever wanted a game where you could watch a car yeet a giraffe? Because guess what? We're going to yeet a giraffe. So here we go. We have our giraffe, and we will just yeet that giraffe, and there we go. That is the most logical of stages you could ever hope for. And that is going to wrap up our giraffe time, our time in longer. And now we'll do a little more of that good old menuing. And we will move on to episode 5. So what is episode 5 going to be about? Well, that guy's in traffic safety type of equipment. So maybe it's time to have some wheel fun by driving. And now, car is going to drive. I know, such a weird idea. A game where you play as a car and you do driving. That doesn't even make sense. I mean, try and make that make sense. So, the first set of stages, this part of the game has 4 sections instead of the usual 2 or 3. The first section is all about one-wheeled mayhem. So we are going to be unicycles and hamster wheels. Yes, hamster wheels. So, and the crown's going to go on appropriate, because you don't want that crown going upside up when car is sideways. And now, this stage has one of the hardest skips. I'm going to go for it. It is not necessarily marathon safe. I am going to hope for the best. You'll also notice we now have cows, not just bears. Bears are still around, as you can see, but we also have cows. We're going to go for a super hard trick coming up. I'm going to slow down intentionally, and I'm going to try and hope for the best right around here. So, there we go. That was perfect. I don't mind getting that card. If you do not hit both of those dash pads directly, you will not have enough speed. If you do not have enough speed, you will have to go around this very long roundabout, and odds are I would have fallen into the goo down below and would have had to restart the stage. And now we are going to be a proper unicycle, and we're going to deal with UFOs, because that makes sense. You know, we need UFOs here to go with our regular logical car game. We will get that card because there is practically no way to avoid that one. And I really wish those bears would stop throwing their toxic waste all around, because it's just making a mess. But this time, For Wheel is the name of that stage. I love puns. I love the stages on this game. It is great. And we have one last unicycle stage. This one is all about trying to avoid the more obvious of things. So like these jump ramps, we want to avoid them. And that's because if we hit the jump ramps, we go up very high, but we also come down really hard and lose a lot of momentum. So instead, avoiding them, we get to keep our momentum going. And momentum is super important when you're trying to keep up a good speed here. We'll hit this dash pad, and this will wrap it up for our unicycle and for those bears. Part of the fun of the physics is because the physics are so weirdly done, it's always fun seeing what happens in that final shot of slow motion as you cross the finish line. So we are done with one wheel fun. So you know what's better after one wheel? Let's go for two wheel. We'll do bike rental. So we've got some bikes coming up right here. On this one, if we hit the button, we'll do a quick boost, but then we have wait for our speed boost to regenerate, which can be a little slow, so we need to be very smart about how we use our speed boost here. Including doing things that keep our momentum moving as fluidly as possible. And we're going to have another one, similar idea of speed boost that takes us forward. And we're going to use it to take a bit of a shortcut. Then we are going to also take advantage of speed boost and the UFO to get flown over that. Avoid that jump pad. Take this hidden path that was behind it. Oh, I was hoping could have gotten over that card, but all is fine because it's better to get the card and to keep moving fast than to fall into a pit below or just lose a lot of speed. Toxic roads, take me home. Here we start seeing another important thing, which is map screen objects that could slow us down. So like that little elevator there slowed us down just a little. On this one, you'll notice the rockets are pointed upward. So instead of jumping or blasting off forward, we have jumps on our bike, which means we are going to take advantage of that to take the shortest route possible to get through this. And we are still wanting to be smart about using our dash or our jump, because when we hit the ground, we lose a bit of momentum. So we want to make sure we try and keep our momentum going as smooth as possible. One final bike one, and this final one has one part that can be potentially bad. Going to hope for the best. These stages do have a few spots that can be kind of tricky, so we are just going to hope everything works out. It's not really a hard jump as much as getting our control back after landing. Right here, if you hit that badly, you will have the wrong type of momentum and you will not be able to turn. But we got through that, and then jump over those barrels and keep our momentum going and clean across the finish line. And we are done with our next part of driving. We are now half done. If you look at the upper left, you'll see that skull symbol. That's where the ultra hard levels are. And usually they have ultra hard mechanics to get to them. Now we are going to go to the fourth area instead of the third, and we are going to slot car racing. If you are an old person like me, you might have grown up with slot cars. Big challenge with them is you don't want to go too fast around turns or you'll go flying off. So we want to feather the button, but in case you're wondering, what does it look like if you go flying off? Well, it is how you get shortcuts, and I will show you coming up right here what it's like when you have too much speed and you go flying off. So we're just going first, flip over here. Luckily, your car will always land on the spot correctly. And then we will go ahead and flip over and let the gate catch up to us. Instead of us catching the finish line can catch us. We break it till we make it. That's what that card said. And now this one, same general idea of jumping off of the track at the right spot, but it is about frame perfect. So we're going to hope for the very best, because this is an incredibly hard trick right here. So once again, just keep thinking good positive thoughts on this. It's coming up right here. And that was not it. Hopefully we get it this time around, because it looked really bad if I just missed it a few times in a row, but it can happen. Hopefully it doesn't. You know, we'll take it as it comes, and there it is. The game is generous and will put you back on the track if it is close enough, which is good because that is incredibly hard to get that trick. It's more or less, there are 2 frames you could get it on, but with in between those 2 frames that it can be are several frames it can't be. So it's pretty much frame 1 or frame 4 or frame 5, and the frames in between will also have you die in a different way. So now we get to be a really cool car. We are a car with Hot Wheels. And these are some of the longer stages as we just get to be really cool with our car. Just keep zipping around here. Big challenge is we don't want to turn too sharp because we'll lose a lot of speed if we start drifting too much. But we don't want to turn too shallow or else we will end up hitting things or falling off the track. So it's all about just knowing how to feather the turns just right. There are going to be 2 Hot Wheel tracks in a row. The first one, this one, it's kind of the beginner mode. So we have like this loop-de-loop. We have like some different jumps, some sharp turns. Avoid that card. That card is surprisingly easy to avoid for being in the middle of a jump. And then comes the next one. The next one, a lot like that first one, but a little more complex, and we're going to go ahead and try to skip the loop-de-loop this time, because the loop-de-loop is longer. If we mess up skipping it, we're going to lose about a minute. If we do it correctly, we're going to save like 2 seconds. It's very high risk, very low reward, but you gotta do those high risk, low reward time saves for a speed run. It just feels right to do it. Also, I've been having good luck with it lately. So here we are just going to go around a nice little upward spiral. If you wanted the card here to jump off to get it right there, puts you back at the bottom, which would have you repeat all that we just did. Definitely not worth it, especially just to lose some frames at the end. And you can see the big loop-de-loop coming up, and we are going to try and skip it. And that's how you do it. Perfect skipping. You want to make sure you have enough time to build up speed, because if you don't build up enough speed before that little jump at the end, you'll just fall right into the green water below and fail. Earlier we had that giraffe leg level that was incredibly hard. This is the same general thing, except for what if you were driving through a lot of toxic waste and it caused your tires to become wrong? So this is another one where the way you point the car is a suggestion, not necessarily the way the car is going to go. This is incredibly hard to control, but we will make it across and have the worst part of time waste in this whole run. We have to wait for this bridge, so if there's any announcements, Tabby, now would be a awesome time.
Well, we do have a $50 anonymous donation. Thank you for that. And then I wanted to give a little bit of a plug for the Resident Evil 4 costume bid war. I can speak. We have $45 going towards the Gangster Leon and Knight Ashley one, and classic outfits and Raccoon Police Department still are at 0. So see if we can get a little bit more towards that one. Let me check. And we still have our milestone one for Resident Evil 4 with unlocking the Mercenaries bonus run. We are at about 1,400. So about a little under $200 to go to get that milestone. I know we can do it, chat. I know we can.
Keep those donations coming in. And here, we get to see a car with apostrophe or parenthesis W and parenthesis wheel. In other words, heels. Our car is walking around in high heels. Main challenge here, do not trip over any obstacles and do not turn too sharp if you're going fast, because car is not good at walking in heels. And if you fall, you have to restart. And this is a very long stage to restart. So you can see those tears, those sweat, the panic, but the car made it. And look at the car just strutting in those heels, looking fantastic. Car with heels. And that is it for driving. So now comes big question. After we do our little bit of menuing, what is our next stage or next episode going to be themed after? We have had driving, we've had working, we've had jumping, we've had sports, we've had longer, and we are going to have water. Ahoy, get swimming, you sea dogs. And so, this is actually some of my favorite stages, because these ones are just ridiculously fun and really just varied in style. So many cool different ideas. We're going to start off being a cart. That's a car with a P at the end, a cart. And our power here is hold the button, we just go a little faster. It's all about knowing what way to avoid obstacles, what obstacles are best to hit. And also, after this stage, we're going to start seeing mines, as in big, spiky sea mines. And a lot of times when you see those, especially when you're playing this game casually, you would see those mines and be like, no thank you. When you're speedrunning, you see them and you go, yes please. Because we will try and use them for some speed boost when we can. We won't be able to use them on this stage because we are going to be going too fast. We would have to slow down to use this mine to our advantage. You'll see we set it off, but it blew up long after we had passed. But we're going to use those mines coming up to go ahead and just blast ahead as quick as we can. We're also going to have in this area some other fun things coming up, including we're going to have a boss fight soon. Probably thinking a boss fight in this game? Yeah, that'll happen. But first, we're going to have a stage that makes me think of Mario Kart more than anything. Despite the fact that we are at sea on this one, also we cannot really trigger these mines too well because they're triggered by our body, not our pontoons. So we can't get close enough. So here's the Mario Kart part. Don't hit the green turtles or they turn into green turtle shells and bounce around off of those walls, hitting you repeatedly. They won't sink you or crash you. They will just keep you bonking around in that area for a good minute until you lose your patience and reset the stage. So definitely want to avoid those. And now will come our boss fight. We are going to aim for a perfect cycle of the boss has 3 hit points. I'm not kidding about boss fight. You're probably thinking, how does that even work in this? Well, we have a cannon. So boss has 3 hit points. We're going to try for a perfect cycle of 3 hits perfectly. There's the boss, the giant sloth. 1, 2, 3, and cross the finish line. Could have been a little better if I kept a tighter circle. Unfortunately, keeping that tight circle lost a little bit because trying to aim with that camera angle is definitely weird, but no more weird than some karaoke. So, now we are going to do some karaoke. All we had to do is honk our horn when it says to honk. We can honk as little as we want, as many times as we want. We just have to honk when it says to, and not honk when it doesn't. If we want that card, we could rotate and we'll screw in the screw we're standing on. Obviously, we don't want that. And there we go. We are a karaoke champion. This stage was more or less an auto-scroller because it's always going to take the same amount of time because that song is always same length. And once again, a little bit of the menuing action. And we are going to now take a more vicious turn. We were a carp. We're going to be something a little more ferocious. It's time to be a shark car. So what happens when you strap a shark fin on the back of a car? Comes a shark car who could jump over things. And the shark car also is going to take a lot of liberties with mines. I personally love how the mines work with the shark car section. So we're just going to keep taking the shortest line possible, jumping over things. And if all goes well, right up here, we're going to have a mine explode us. Yes, and there we go. Nice little speed boost from that mine. And we are just going to keep those speed boosts going as often as we can with the mines on the upcoming stages. While trying to make sure we just don't fall off to our doom, because these are the worst stages to possibly die on, just because they are so much fun and it feels so bad to mess up on them. So we want to aim a little right so we don't hit that little wooden platform. We're just going to continue through. We're going to get some mines right away. Just got to get up ahead a little bit, and I see our mines that are going to help us out. Just like that. Nice little speed boost going. And then big jump, and we just blasted through that stage. Perfectly navigated. Good gold right there. And now we are going to head into surfing. So earlier, if you thought the giraffe as a skateboard was a lot of fun, well, we're back with same type of thing, except it's a more serious sport. It's an actual surfboard. No giraffe here. This is serious. We had our fun before. Now we're going to take it very seriously, but also we are going to get that mine boost. Those mines can be tricky to get because you can also end up going too fast to be blown up by them. So I withheld a little of my paddling. Here, aim for the pad. Don't try and steer because, like I said before, those pads will point you in the direction they are aimed at. And if you try and steer too much to try and get a better line, you will possibly miss that boost pad and just lose some frames in the process. Time for a little more of that surfing fun. As I was saying before, you could tell when the creators of this game had a theme they really liked because they'd go with it 2 times in a row. And yeah, the surfing, it's a lot of fun. It feels good. Surfing does, skateboarding does. Look at that nice big friendly whale. Avoid that card. It's a very tight, narrow passage to get around that card, but we got it. And just cut it nice and close there. And we are done with surfing. Car is in the water. I need a little hydration right there. And now we get to move into probably my least favorite part of the water episode. We are paragliding or parasailing. I don't know the right term. It doesn't matter. We are going slow is what we're doing. You cannot go faster than your parachute, no matter what you do. If you hit these mines just right, if you do get hit by one and it blasts you forward, all it will do is blast you forward, your parachute will then pull you backwards, and then you just end up right back where you are. So, auto-scroller with illusions of not being one. Not what I'd call the best of stages, but considering Water has so many amazing stages, I'll let it slide that maybe one is a little slower, a little more relaxed. And then we will just go through this part over to the last few stages. Something I didn't point out before is after I finish a stage, in the upper right-hand corner will be a little percentage. That percentage counts up to 100%, but it is not 100% of all stages, like 100% category, just 100% of what is needed to get the any percent goal for an episode. So these are kind of tricky. If you can do it, if you could get a mine, it is awesome. Like that. And like that. That was perfect, that last mine. Like I said, if you're playing casually, those mines can be frightening. If you're playing speedrun, those mines, you look at them with such like hunger, like, oh, I need those mines. So up there it said 85%, because there's only 2 stages left. Here, we have a nerd job. Earlier we were making burgers, now we are getting floaties for all of our bear friends. And you know, I'm wondering, this big banana floaty, these 3 troublemaking bears, I wonder what they're up to. I really wish we could know what they're up to. Spoilers, we can know what they're up to. Let's find out what they are up to. So we're going to go up here and see what trouble they get into. And we are part of the trouble. And there we go, the final stage of Water. Nice and fast, 4.2 something seconds on that. And then hit the button, you know how it goes. We do the menuing, we do the menuing, we do the menuing, and then we are going to get our final friend before the party. So when this game first came out on Apple Arcade, there were 7 episodes, and Party was the last one. But when it came out on Steam, you're so good, let's celebrate. When it came out on Steam, they added 2 additional episodes. So that's what we're going to see today. So after the party, which would end any percent category, we move on to the next episode. Here we are being asked to prepare for the party. So we will start off by making artwork. We have 30 seconds to make artwork. We can make whatever we want as long as it's one continuous line. I am horrible at this type of art. Also, another fun thing about this type of art is it is not going off of our art on this save file. It's going to go off of our art from our previous save that got deleted. Which, if it goes right, it should be a sign of my love for all of you out there. However, also I had this game Blue Screen of Death on me, so I'm not sure if it's gonna... There it is. A nice heart. Then here, we're going to make our music. We can make this as long as we want, no time limit, so make it as long as we want, and okay, there's our song. And our song sounds like... Oh. Says your awesome music will be playing. Our music is a lot of no music, but oh well. And now we could do a dance. 20 seconds, make whatever dance we want. And you know what? Once again, it's not going to do what we're doing here. It's going to do our previous save that we deleted. And I'll just say, let's show a little more of that love. At least I'm hoping. I did have a game crash earlier, but I think think there should be some love coming your way. There we go. Show the love. Much love. You know, support great causes. Show love to your community, to everyone. Don't forget to keep the donations coming in. And so if we were doing any percent, the time would actually be right now. But instead, we'll land, we'll menu, and guess what? We're going Sandstorm. Sandstorm is, do you like pop culture? If you like pop culture, you're about to get it. Do you like Mad Max? You're about to get it. Do you like Sonic the Hedgehog? You're about to get it. Do you like King Kong? You're about to get it. You're going to get all of it. You're going to get Dune. Do you like Dune? There's going to be Dune references. I love Sandstorm, and I always love getting this nice long all episodes category because Sandstorm is just so much of everything. It is ridiculous in all the right ways. So the big challenge on these stages, most of the stages in Sandstorm look like this, where you have to your left and to your right, bad Sandstorm, behind you, Sandstorm. If you go too slow, you're going to die. If you go left or right too much, you're going to die. And they're going to start throwing obstacles at you. The one nice thing is at the very end, that finish line on that island, if you go left or right, that island will move left or right. So it will work out in your favor. You don't need to be worrisome about that. There's a big sandworm. There was part of our Dune reference, but you'll see more of it to come. And so we are just going to continue on through here and start seeing some new obstacles and new challenges. I love some of these bears who are just raving and partying. These are some of the worst, these guys right here. All right, I think we might have lost him. I just heard him crash behind me, so thankfully I think we did lose him. Avoid that card, obviously. Keep the speed going. And we have a couple of them showing up right here. Going, let them take care of each other a little bit. Because, yeah, not much we can do. We're too little of a little car. We're just a cute little car with big tires. Try and get by in a very frightening world. And we'll go right. You'll see the finish line went to the right. It will go whatever way we go, because the game's nice like that. So I mentioned before, we can't do anything about those cars because we are just too tiny and too small. Well, we will go ahead and have one more challenge of that, and then maybe we will take care of them. On this stage, we're introduced these spring cars. They will come at you when they detect you. And if they ram into you, they have springs, they will send you flying backwards, and that is pretty much a death. And you have to restart the stage. So we're going to try and avoid those, obviously. And anytime we could get onto firm ground, we want it because it's easier to drive on firm ground than on the sand. Be very careful right here because, luckily, the physics worked in my favor. Those springs could have been some real bad news. Those bears are just having the best of time. I love those bears. They are having fun. I hope you're all having fun. I'm having fun. This game is ridiculous fun. And now we're going to take care of that issue of being just a little car, dealing with these big baddies. We're going to be a big car. And we're going to kind of exert our big carness in this stage. So there's the spring vehicles. They don't mean nothing. They're going to drop mines. Once again, mines are good news for us because they will give us just a little bit of a speed boost if we hit them right. So I'm going to hit them right. We're going to keep going. These guys are horrible that shoot the soccer balls. But we're too big, and we'll just blast through. Oh, barely avoided that card. If we did get that card, the name of this stage would have been Gonna Need a Bigger Car, which you'd think that seems wrong because we are a big car. We don't need a bigger one. Well, if anything, I would give that name typically to this stage. We are just a little family car in the Mad Max apocalypse with our button just honking. That's all we have is the power to honk. This is incredibly dangerous. This is not a place for a little car. And if you're wondering, what is the name of this stage? Would be a great name for it? Mediocre. Because you are just a little mediocre car. We're just going to zip along. We're going to let physics take care of this guy. Hits the springs. Those springs do problems for that car just like they do for our car. And then we are going to possibly use some springs to our advantage right about here. Oh! Went slightly too far left. So let's go ahead and we'll just say I did that so you could see what happens if you go off-road to the left or right too far. You know, that was intentional. That was me just showing you what it's like, because it's not fair for me to say it's bad news and then not show you what it looks like. So that's what it looks like to fall off the course. Oh. And I'll be glad when we're done with this stage, because being the little mediocre car is incredibly nerve-wracking because you're just this little tiny car. And your steering is less than ideal in this sand. Alright, we'll avoid those springs. Oh, this could be bad. Oh, look! It's our buddy from Dune, the big sandworm. Just avoid those mines, and we're good. And we get a gold crown. We'll pretend that one death never happened. I didn't see it. I don't think any of you saw it. It never happened. It's just an example of what not to do. And now, if you know the game Tapper, or Root Beer Tapper, guess what? We're kind of playing that now. We're going to pour some honey for these thirsty bears. They want their honey, so we're just going to top them off. I know about where the mugs are, so I could be a very attentive host and pour it in advance where they want it. And then we're going to have 5 of them at once. And then we're going to have a jerk. Not going to hold his mug out, so we're just going to throw all of the honey in the pitcher at that bear. Hold your mug out if you want it. Don't keep it close to you and make me have to reach. And now comes everyone's favorite hedgehog. That fast, amazing hedgehog. The hedgehog car. Gotta go fast. And so we are just gonna zip through this post-apocalyptic nightmare. Avoiding some of those jumps, because some of those jumps don't actually go quicker than avoiding them. Avoid that card, obviously. Here we do want a jump ramp because we gotta get around those houses on wheels. We'll just keep zipping along. Did not necessarily want that jump, but it did help stabilize my hedge car. Gotta avoid these mines and get to the finish line. Look at that happy hedge car. Gotta go fast. And especially gotta avoid these hedgehogs. So these blue hedgehogs right here, if they get in your way, they are immovable and they will stop you. And they move randomly and can be complete jerks about things, so gotta be careful to avoid them. Also avoid these cannons that are shooting soccer balls, because if one of those hit you, you will lose all of your momentum and you will have to restart your sonic speed or sonic spin. We're just going to keep trying to aim for the high route. And there the physics count it as me hitting something even though I didn't actually hit anything. Because that's how the physics sometimes goes on this game. Physics can be interesting on this game. And these guys are making things super interesting. That is some chaos you don't normally see. That was amazing. I honestly really love it when the physics and the RNG just go off the walls. It makes it so much more fun. This game, you never know what a speedrun of it will be. It's a different speedrun every single time just because of how the physics go. So here, they are going to be a lot more focused on taking out our poor little hedge car. Ooh. Oh, we do not want to hit those mines. Luckily, we got our speed back. We are moving nice and fluid now. Those mines, though, there are a lot of mines. Oh, boy. Oh, that was just bad luck all around. Like I said, the physics and RNG, you never know what's going to happen. So you just kind of got to hope. Like, you just got to hope for the best. And you gotta enjoy the ride. Like, this is a game where it could be so easy to get frustrated and infuriated at the game, but instead, just enjoy the ride, have fun with it, laugh it off when things go wrong, and it is just the most fun of games. Like, if you're ever looking for a really weird speedrun, give this game a shot. It is unbelievably good fun.
You got time for a quick donation?
Yeah, let me just set up what this next one, it's Guitar Hero. That's all I'll say is Guitar Hero. Go for it.
All right. We have a $10 donation from Regicide93 with the comment of, "What the car is this game?" I agree. This run is wacky. I love watching everything. It's just I don't expect half the stuff that's coming out of this game.
So here you can see I'm just gonna hit all of the notes, avoid that card obviously, and yeah, luckily like Guitar Hero can have, we could turn on no fail mode. You could just miss, you could just shoot at a bunch of nothing, but essentially that right there was just Guitar Hero. And then we are going to be wrapping up. We are halfway through the Sandstorm. So once again, menuing, and it's time to have a little bit more fun in the land of bears and honey. Including, remember the spring car from earlier? What if we made it super difficult? So this is one of those stages that can be incredibly hard because of these soccer ball cannons. So we are just going to hope for the best that we can avoid these cannons and hope the sandworm treats us right, because that sandworm can actually throw so much stuff your way and just send you into a very bad spot. And then we will just speed boost. Oh. And this is so tricky to control because you are bouncing with springs that are not perfectly lined up with reality, so luckily we could go up and above over the finish line, because if we had to go through that finish line with those springs, I'm not sure it'd happen. So coming up here, it's time for King Kong. We've got our big monkey arms and we're just gonna monkey our way through this. And every time we swing our arms, we get a little bit of a jump and a speed boost. And while getting all of these dash pads would be great, just keeping up our speed is so much better, so we just keep going through. This game is great because it just keeps giving you things you would never expect. Like, there's a bear with King Kong arms and a banana. Now it's all about bananas. So here we have more of these spring cars. Gotta be very mindful of them. And we just wanna hit this. If we could hit this just right, it's really tricky to do, but there is a way to bounce when we hit these gates to go flying like that. Unfortunately, I went down low. I wanted to go high. And we need to avoid these soccer cannons. And straight on through to the finish. And even though we miss some speed boosts, still get the gold crown because it's all about just keep that momentum going. So we're going to have one more stage along the lines of what we've been seeing. You could tell that the game creators really like the King Kong arms because 3 stages of it, I can't blame them. It is so much fun. There we go. Wanted to get that. Oh. Oh. Lost some speed. So I am gonna. There we go. Oh, I was worried for a second. We lost more speed than I'd prefer, but we will just, keep going. And there we go. Whew, that got tricky. I am surprised I still got a gold because that did get difficult. And now it's time for Street Fighter 2. So, you know, in between matches on Street Fighter, you might have to beat up a car and destroy it. Well, we're a car, that'd be wrong, so instead we'll beat up a couch. And there we go. Beat up the couch in record time. Bears were just cheering us on. I love this game. It is just fantastic. If you jump off there, there is a worm that goes through that you can ride to secret levels. And now, we are going a little classical on this one. A little bit of that Da Vinci ornithopter type of look. So, our button will keep us floating and gliding. So we want to hit the ground before the dash pads. And that way we can rebuild our meter because we don't want to run out. You get up real high and you hear some interesting music. There we go. We're just going to keep gliding. These stages are some of the hardest ones because if you fall behind, it is so hard to make up for lost time and you will get swallowed up by the sandstorm. But there we go. Look how happy the car is. That is a smile that just says how much fun Car is having with this. We are down to 17% of this episode left, and then will come the final episode after this one. I'm not sure why it's snowy up there. This is the one time where mines are seriously bad news, so we want to be very mindful of the mines, or mindful of the mines. Then, all right. And if we would have gotten that card, this stage is actually called Da Vinci Eat Your Heart Out, because you're doing things with a Da Vinci-like device that Vinci never would have dreamed of. And we will ride these fans. Sometimes the physics on this fan can send you into the pit down below. You could die on the map screen. Luckily, it behaved for me this time. And here we go. One last round of the ornithopter. Oh! Like I said, those mines are bad news. I thought I was out their blast range. Barely got hit by them, but we are all good. Keep floating. Keep going. And that sandstorm is catching up with us. Oh, hit some physics there. That could be bad. Sandstorm is getting right on our behind, but we made it to the Honey Lake at the Honey Waterfall. Honey Fall. Got a bronze crown because, yeah, that got bad. And now a final boss fight. Can't have Mad Max World without Thunderdome. We need to aim 4 of these boxing gloves. Ooh, and those boxing gloves can be problematic because after they hit, they're obstacles that could block our jumping. Getting 4 of those perfect, 4 cycle perfect is awesome. Go home. Go back here, get our final friend, who is obviously going to be one of these awesome bears. Look at that bear living his best life. And then we go home, and then we go into the final area. Episode 9, Sneaky Saskar. We are going to get a friend here. There are sadly only 7 stages. We are near the end of this run. So this raccoon is going to say, hey, if you want to be sneaky, you need a sneaky friend. And you're probably thinking, how is a Sasquatch sneaky? Well, have you ever seen a Sasquatch? They're sneaky. So Sasquatch is going to take us through some familiar stages and some new ones. This one you might recognize as the very first stage of the entire run. But this time, we have these bears in ranger uniforms who are wanting us to not steal picnic baskets. I say, tough on them. I want those picnic baskets. So we're just gonna continue on through, ignoring these rangers. And there we go. Look at all those picnic baskets and coolers that we are pilfering. I like how Sasquatch gets the crown. We have 6 stages left. Sadly, our time is coming to a close. This game is so much fun. There is so much to it. Here we need to be truly sneaky. So we are going to avoid that first one by going through the woods. Go behind the outhouses to avoid the second one. Third one, I don't know if we could avoid him, so we will bait him. And he will run onto that jump pad. We will avoid it. And lean on through to the finish line. All right, now it's time for the third stage of stealing picnic baskets. This time, ultra stealthy. We're going actually go a little slow to start because we don't want to go too fast. We don't want those rangers to see us because if they catch us, we have to restart. But the challenge is if we stop, we lose momentum and it takes a little time to accelerate. So we want to make sure we go as quick as we can while not getting ahead of ourselves. Also, this guy can see us from a mile away, so... And there he goes off into the yonder. Look at the happy best friends right there. We've got 4 stages left. It's time to revisit being a carp. It's time for Sasquatch to catch a carp, or to at least ride a carp. So this stage here is kind of a maze. There's multiple routes you could take. They all get you the end, but they will take you at different speeds. So we are going to take the fast route, because obviously, speedrunning, we want to take that fast route. We don't want to lose time. And then we are going jump, another jump, another jump. We want to avoid this card. Yep. And there we go. Perfect ending. Name of that one was Sasquatch Caught a Carp. And then it's time for us to actually start enjoying our picnic. So we are going to eat our picnic finally. We just have to eat 3 items from our picnic. Avoid the card because we don't want to eat that. And once you eat 3, green apple with the finish flag appears in your hand. You eat that one nice and fast. Then we will go ahead and have 2 stages left. So we are coming up on time pretty soon. We've got like a minute and a half left to this run. This is one of my favorite stages. Before some of the recent updates, there's actually episode 1 jumping included a stage like this, where it was called a car with too big of legs. And I love the too big of legs. It's silly fun. However, it also can physics out really bad. You can clip into the geometry of everything, and it can make for some interesting, physical model deformation. And this here is our last regular stage. You will recognize it. I mentioned earlier, to remember this one is the first stage of longer. This one's called The Picnic is on Me, because I'm the car and the picnic is literally on me. So we're going to have one little quick cutscene, and then time will be coming up right after the cutscene. So time is coming up about 30-ish seconds. So be ready on it. I'll tell you a little closer when we are right down at the end. But it's essentially when our gear shift in the bottom corner disappears as we get into the elevator. So we will end our little friendship and partnership. Enjoy all the friends we made along the way. Enjoy all the donations that you all have given to this great cause. And time is in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. And that is all episodes. Not 100%, because, like I said, there is so much content we could be at it for days. Like, this game is really dense with content. But this was all episodes of What the Car. Hopefully you now know What the Car. Hopefully you all have learned. And thank you so much for letting me be able to show you this game. And thank you for bringing in donations. Keep those donations coming in. It's a great cause, and we should be trying to raise up community, friends, everyone we can, especially nowadays. Let's bring more positivity and good vibes and love to anyone and everyone that we can.
Welcome back to Completithon 2025, everyone. That run was wild and crazy, and I loved every second of watching it. I did not expect half the stuff that came out of the car, but very interesting. All right, y'all. My time for tonight is over. I'll be back tomorrow again. Or, if I get another surprise hosting shift, we never know. We never know. But I leave you guys in the capable hands of Sporadic Erratic. I
Thank
leave it to you.
Thank you so much, Tabby. Really, really appreciate it. What is up, Completethon? Have y'all been having a good time today? I am so incredibly hyped to be here hosting for the final run of the evening. We have a Resident Evil 4 100% professional run coming up for y'all post haste. But in the meantime, how about a little reminder of the organization, the fantastic organization we're here raising funds for together today, tomorrow, the next day, and even the day after that? It's the Girls Make Games Scholarship Fund. In 2014, Girls Make Games was founded in order to provide girls with the space and resources to explore the world of gaming and help them pursue careers in game development. Girls Make Games has helped their alumni go on to graduate high school, college, and onto jobs in the gaming industry and wider STEAM fields. With help through your donations, Girls Make Games Scholarship Fund will give women and girls the support they need to reach their fullest potential. It is a really, really fantastic cause we are here raising funds for together. And I do want to remind everybody, we have both a milestone incentive open. That means every single donation will go towards it. You don't need to click on anything. And a bid war that will be open for not very much longer because it is for the very next run. That is a costume choice bid war. I'm going to get right in here and get you the details on who is in the lead here. And I'm going to tell my PC that I don't want to restart it right now. You know, I don't think that would be good. All right, so the costume bid war for Resident Evil 4, we have 3 choices: the classic outfits, the Raccoon Police Department, and Gangster Leon plus Knight Ashley. Now, that last one is in a very healthy lead at $45. The other 2, quite far behind with no donations whatsoever. This is your last chance to get in and snipe. And I do want to tell you about that milestone incentive too that we are looking to hit. If we can hit $1,600 total raised for the Girls Make Games Scholarship Fund by the end of this run, which is a 3-hour run, we will unlock a Mercenaries bonus run. Everybody loves bonus runs. I love bonus runs. You love bonus runs. More Completethon. Let's get those donations in for Girls Make Games Scholarship Fund and see that Mercenaries bonus run at the end of this Resident Evil 4 100% professional run that we have coming right the hecky up. Also, if you're just joining us, welcome to Completithon. Completithon is a charity event dedicated to completionist speedruns. This includes 100% all collectibles, or even categories where you collect all of a specific collectible, such as all red berries or all shrines, just to name a few. If you're interested in getting involved or finding out more, make sure to join our Discord and follow us on Twitter to get updates about future events. If you'd like to help with future events, we always host volunteer applications before our events. They typically run alongside submissions and are announced in our Discord and Twitter and Blue Sky. Keep an eye on those if you're interested in running production, tweeting the tweets, or maybe even hosting live on the mic, like I am right now. Even if you're just looking to volunteer for the first time, we'd be happy to help you get your foot in the door. I really love helping out with Completithon. Not only is it a fantastic, fantastic cause, but everybody's super chill and nice. And that's really what you look for in events like this. It's just a joy to help out all the way around. I definitely highly, highly recommend it.